Aloha everyone, my name is Robert Tousignant, Regional Manager and Hearing Instrument Specialist with Miracle Ear. I'm here today to talk to you about the signs and symptoms associated with hearing loss. It's something that none of us like to really admit or own up to, but it's one of those things that's going to happen to everybody. Around 55 to 60 is about when age-related presbycusis, or just hearing loss associated with the aging process, begins to occur. It's an average of 7 to 10 years before people typically do something about the hearing loss that they have when they find out about it. And so today I want to explain to you a little bit about some of the things that you may start to notice before realizing that you are actually having some hearing issues. Number one, people mumble. That's always the first thing that I hear all the time. And typically speaking, when we are starting to experience some hearing loss in the higher frequencies, it translates to the inability to distinguish the difference from one word to another. For example, stove and stone. They sound very similar, but have completely different meanings. And if we're not hearing the word in its entirety, then it's very difficult sometimes to understand the difference from one and the other. And therefore, honey, did you take out the trash becomes, go check my wallet, I think I have cash in there. So today I'm going to discuss with you guys an audiogram. So if you do get a hearing test done, how you can look at it and understand the results. And so we have in this graphic here, the numbers that are displayed across the top of the audiogram are the frequencies that are being tested. They range from low pitch on the left side all the way to higher frequencies on the right. And then the numbers on the side are decibels or volume. So at the very top of the graph is very, very soft, and towards the bottom of the graph is much, much louder at 120 or 140 decibels. Normal hearing is your threshold responses are supposed to be 25 decibels or better. So where the yellow line is across the section of the screen right here, everything above that is where we want to see your hearing test results. But just because part of your hearing is in the mild, moderate, or severe range, but other parts maybe are in the normal, doesn't necessarily mean that your hearing is normal. And that is one of the issues, is we hear every frequency differently. And so when it comes to the hearing aids as well, we have to make sure that we can program them accordingly. And not all hearing aids work that way, and we'll talk more about that later. But the one thing that needs to be understood is that as we start to develop hearing loss, the more hearing loss that we have, the more likely it is to accelerate issues with things like dementia. And when we see hearing loss at 25 decibels or less, so meaning mild hearing loss, you are now likely to become 2 times more likely to develop symptoms like with dementia. Once it gets down to moderate, we're 3 times more likely, and as your hearing loss reaches a severe level, we are now 5 times more likely. So doing something sooner than later is always in your best interest. And also some of the other symptoms that we can start to experience are forgetfulness, because our auditory cortex processes memories or processes sound right next to where we store our memories. And shrinkage in the auditory cortex also translates to shrinkage in neighboring areas. And outside of that, once certain hearing loss gets to a degree where it is severe enough, the ability for the brain to process a stimulation once we start to provide it from the hearing aid is never a guarantee. So that's why they're also called hearing aids and not hearing fixers. One of the other things that we want to consider with hearing loss is when we're communicating with people and we can hear certain sounds better than we think that we can hear other ones, that is also a symptom of potential hearing loss that could be related to communication issues, or again, if you can't hear cars driving by your home or birds chirping in your yards anymore, maybe even the turn signal in your car. These are all things that should be concerning. The other issue with hearing loss is again, when it comes to the hearing aids, not every hearing aid operates the same, so it's very important to make sure you ask your professionals which hearing aids do what particular things and why one might be better for you than another. So again, my name is Robert Tousignant with Miracle Ear here in Hawaii, and please give us a call if you have any other questions.